Every single day, millions of women scroll past the same exact images. Private jets, effortless yacht trips, $10,000 wardrobes, and flawless cosmetic perfection. The subconscious message is clear. This is what a normal successful youth looks like, and you are falling behind. But there is a massive lie hidden in plain sight. You aren't looking at a lifestyle. You are looking at a highly optimized corporate advertisement. The yacht isn't a vacation. It's a marketing expense for a direct-to-consumer business model that is quietly shifting billions of dollars out of the mainstream economy. By turning the male gaze into a highly weaponized sales funnel, spicy models didn't just get rich. They established an unattainable aesthetic standard that regular society is now forced to measure itself against. This isn't just about subscription pages. It's about how a new class of creators engineered a visual monopoly, bought their way to the top of Hollywood, and changed the rules of human attention forever. The business model is almost insultingly simple. You post free content at the top of the funnel using TikTok clips, Instagram stories, and tweets, and you make it just revealing enough that the viewer wants more. Then you direct that attention to a subscription-based platform where the real money lives. The free content is the commercial, and the subscription page is the store. And because the creator owns the store, she keeps a much larger slice than any model walking a runway ever did. Sophie Rain is the clearest example of how this works. In February 2024, a Spider-Man-themed TikTok clip hit 10 million views. That single burst of attention turned into a funnel that she credits with building her brand. Within 2 years, she claimed almost $100 million in earnings from exclusive content. Whether you love that or hate it, you've got to admit the math is wild. A 30-second viral moment translated into wealth faster than most Hollywood actors earn across their entire careers. All without a single audition or agent meeting. Ruby Rose followed a slightly different path, but arrived at the same destination. She built her early visibility through music video appearances, which gave her a built-in audience of fans who already liked how she looked on camera. And that audience followed her straight to her subscription page when she launched it. Music video sets have always been filled with models who understood the visual appeal drives streams. But Ruby Rose was one of the first to turn that exposure into a direct revenue stream she controlled herself. Even on what she calls a slow month, she reportedly still pulls in $400,000. On a bad month, she still earns more than most doctors or lawyers see in an entire year. She's proof that the model works at scale. You can't talk about this world without the visuals that start the chain. Walk into Miami Swim Week and you see the gold standard. Luciana Bainan, daughter of Australian businessman Travers Bainan, hit the runway for Emma Savall Couture in 2024. And the clips exploded online because that high production glamour is exactly what the internet wants. That high production, high glamour imagery sets the visual expectation. It's the hook that pulls viewers from a free scroll into a paid subscription. The reason this all works so well is that it removes every middleman. No agency takes 20%. A casting director never gets to decide if you're pretty enough. Magazine editors don't choose which photo runs. The creator films it, posts it, prices it, and collects the money directly. That direct-to-consumer relationship is why the revenue numbers look like tech startup valuations instead of modeling paychecks. And the platforms know exactly what they're doing. The parent company of one major subscription site sold a 16% stake for $535 million in 2026, which valued the entire business at $3.15 billion. Investors don't throw that kind of money at side hustles because they only bet on industries that have proven staying power. And yet, the numbers are only half the story. The real power move is what happens when that wealth gets turned into a lifestyle the rest of the world is forced to measure itself against. So these creators struck gold, but the real takeover happens when they weaponize that wealth into a lifestyle that millions of other women are supposed to copy. Scroll through the average feed and you see private jets, luxury villas, cosmetic procedures, and designer wardrobes presented as the normal daily experience. The captions make it look effortless. The lighting makes it look constant, What you don't see is the revenue stream funding every single frame. The average viewer sees a 23-year-old on a yacht and assumes she arrived there through hard work and good products. She sees the flat stomach, the curated closet, and the vacation photos, and she thinks that's what 23 is supposed to look like. But that look costs more than most apartments. It's a costume built for a camera, not a life built for a human. A lot of viewers never stop to ask who is paying for the yacht, the camera crew, and the social media manager. Research from 2025 confirms what a lot of people already suspected. Social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok propagate idealized, edited images that reinforce unrealistic beauty standards, especially among young women. The more appearance-based content a person consumes, the more likely they are to compare themselves against a standard that's literally funded by a tiny fraction of the population. It's not a fair fight. The creator is operating a business. Regular viewers are just trying to get through their day. Sweeney is the perfect comparison here, even though she didn't come from spicy content. She built her career through traditional acting in shows like Euphoria and films like Anyone But You and The Housemaid. But what makes her relevant is how she manages her image. She balances relatability with high-end glamour in a way that makes both feel accessible. She launched her own production company, signed with Brillstein Entertainment Partners, and stacked brand deals with companies like American Eagle. Her career is a blueprint for how visual capital converts into real opportunity. Regular women see that blueprint and try to replicate it without the funding. They buy the skincare, book the procedures, and chase the aesthetic without realizing the lifestyle is a marketing expense for a business they don't own. Downloading the same editing apps, buying the same lighting setups, and copying the angles happens daily. But most fans never realize the creator has a full team making her look effortless. The viewer thinks she's watching a lifestyle. She's actually watching an advertisement for a company she can't afford to start. It's like watching a restaurant owner drive a Lamborghini and assuming he bought it from tips alone. You're seeing the front end of a machine, not the engine underneath. Seriously though, this isn't about blaming the creators. They're running a business. This is about recognizing what happens when people mistake that business for a standard. The creators aren't hiding the model. They're selling access to it. Plenty of viewers never ask who's funding the jet fuel. That's where the hijacking happens. Society starts measuring regular women against a lifestyle that nobody ever designed to be normal. From the business side, it's a product. And when a product becomes a standard, everyone loses sight of what normal ever looked like. These women built the empire and the lifestyle standard, and now they're doing something even more strategic. The smartest creators aren't treating spicy content as a destination. They're treating it as venture capital for a much bigger career. Ruby Rose is the strongest case for this reverse pivot. She didn't wait for a label to discover her. She created her own fan base, funded her own projects, and walked through the door she built herself. Sophie Rain took a similar path from a different starting point. One viral TikTok clip became a funnel, and that funnel grew into a media brand worth an estimated 9 figures. She's not just posting photos anymore, because now she's running an entire company. The content is the product, but the business is the empire. But the pivot playbook isn't limited to subscription creators. Sweeney shows how the same logic works in traditional Hollywood, even without the subscription page. Early on, she recognized that her image operated as visual capital. And this isn't a new trick. The model-to-actress pipeline has existed for decades. Brooke Shields, Julia Roberts, and Kate Upton all moved from modeling and visual work into serious Hollywood careers. What changed is the speed and the gatekeeping. Now the audience decides with their wallets, and the creators who understand that shift are building empires while the old system is still updating its casting spreadsheets. The creator builds the proof of concept herself. She doesn't need a studio's approval. She needs a viral clip and a payment link. Then she uses the revenue to buy the coaching, the connections, and the time she needs to make the pivot stick. That's why the spicy to superstar pipeline is becoming a recognized career path. Build the audience, monetize directly, and reinvest the profits into music, acting, or entrepreneurship. It's the new Hollywood mailroom, except the starting salary is higher than most executives will ever see. And that's exactly why the old guard is starting to panic. Attractiveness is now a liquid asset that extracts wealth, shapes standards, and buys mainstream access. Whether you see that as smart business or a social shift, you can't scroll past it anymore without noticing the system behind it. So hit that subscribe button if you want more deep dives. The next wave of this story is already happening, and it's moving faster than the last one.